Hello, and welcome to another episode of Breadcast Gaming Talk. Taking a break on this episode from the usual gaming talk stuff for something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about an article I read, and don't worry, it's related to video games. There's an article on the New York Post website that was posted December 12th, 2020, titled, "This 6-year-old racked up $16,000 on mom's credit card playing video games." Already, the title of this article reeks of all the technologically illiterate parents saying video games are bad. So, we have George, the 6-year-old kid at the center of this article. We also have Jessica, the mother of George, who's been working from home. We get the what George did, which was this. He was playing Sonic Forces on iPad and bought some of the add-on boosters. He started with the red rings that cost $1.99 each, and then ended up going up to the gold rings that cost $99.99 each. This is where Jessica enters the story. She started seeing huge charges for $500 to $600 on her credit card from Apple and PayPal. And she went as far as to think that it was just fraud and claimed fraud through Chase when she saw the bill of about $16,300. Chase came back and told her that the charges were not fraud and were indeed from her. Obviously, they were not her doing, but she didn't know that. That was until Jessica reached out to Apple, who went through the running list of all the charges. Once she saw the icon of Sonic, she then figured out it was her son, George. What did Apple tell Jessica? Well, since she didn't call them within 60 days, because she thought it was credit card fraud, Jessica is stuck with an almost $16,300 worth of charges. And when she called customer service agent, they gave her no sympathy, as she was told that there are settings on her iPad that would make it so George wouldn't be able to buy these microtransactions. Of course, Jessica's defense is that she didn't know about these settings, or she'd have been using them on her iPad the whole time. This point in the article is the interesting sentence of whose husband cares for the kids full time. Yes, I will come back to that sentence later. This is when we get the standard of these games are designed to be completely predatory towards kids to get them to buy things, and yes, the sentence is 100% true. They also threw in the sentence of Sega, the maker of Sonic Forces, did not return calls for comment. Again, I will come back to that one. In the end, Jessica thinks Apple is to blame because her son doesn't understand that the money is real, because, how could he? The end of the article with the mom advising parents to check your device security settings, and that she is appalled that this is even possible in these games, and that Apple devices are not preset to prevent this, nor is any device. Now, with the article out of the way, I'm going to get very opinionated. Where does the blame lie? I see two parties at fault here. I'm going to start with mom, and then dad. Obviously, Jessica is working, so she's not able to watch over George all the time. But as stated earlier, her husband watches the kids full time. So, what exactly was he doing when George started racking up the money? The article very clearly avoids mentioning her husband aside from the one sentence, but that one sentence is a very big deal because it leads to the question of where was Dad? What was Dad doing? I can't fully say that Dad was not watching or paying attention to George, since there's not enough evidence to say that. Now, part of the last part of the article, where Jessica says that she is appalled that games even have microtransactions, and this is a classic case of parents not paying attention to what their children do. Now, I will give some credit since she knows that George plays Sonic Forces. However, I believe her reaction is a bunch of crap. You really expect me to believe that neither Jessica nor Dad know that mobile games have microtransactions? No, I think this is a liberty taken by the writer of the article, who is shifting some of the facts around. We've been in a heavy digital age for years now, and it really bothers me how parents become oblivious to technology and how it works, and yet the majority of them are willing to let their devices babysit their children. With all of that, I'm putting 30% of the blame on the parents for making some poor decisions. So, remember that sentence earlier I pointed out about how the New York Post tried to reach out to Sega but was not able to? Well, my question is, what point would that have served? What do you expect Sega to say? Oh, we're sorry, your child spent almost $16,300 on our game. Yeah, we'll give you your money back. I don't think so. That's not going to happen, and that's just an unrealistic expectation to have. There are lots of videos and articles about microtransactions in video games, but that's where this video is headed. All microtransactions are bad. I used to be in the mindset that they're alright in free-to-play mobile games, and they're only bad in games that you're paying $60 for, but I don't think that way anymore. Why do mobile games have to have microtransactions? Of course, the other option for mobile game developers would be to charge for the game up front and have zero microtransactions. Personally, I would pay, $5 at one time to play and have all available content in something like Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, rather than paying monthly for their special club for the same stuff. How does this all relate to the article? The question that we must now ask is, how much of the blame falls on Sega? Well, they made the game, right? They implemented the microtransaction systems, right? They're the ones who target children with the lure of game rewards if they just spend a little bit, or in some cases, a lot of money. This is why Sega is getting the rest of the blame that the parents didn't take. So, 70% of the blame? This is why I firmly disagree with Jessica blaming Apple. Apple, for those who don't know, get a small cut of sales on their store. The customer service agent for Apple is completely right in the fact that they cannot do anything for her. My advice here in this video is this: parents need to know their devices before handing them over to children. And sure, you could sit there and argue, well, why isn't the device preset, as she said, to have parental controls? Well, because most people buying these devices aren't buying them specifically for children. I don't want to buy a new phone and it be like, oh, let me turn off the parental controls. Hang on a second. No, that's not the way it works. Parents need to know what their kids do on said devices and all security settings involved. That's all I have to say. So if you added the conversation, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for listening and goodbye.